You're listening to Podcasting Up an Octave, a podcast by Sonivia, the podcasting agency that believes that women and queer people deserve to take up space in the podcasting industry because our thoughts, voices, and stories matter. Here you'll learn how to make a dope podcast that inspires, educates, converts, and most importantly, makes your voice shine. I'm your host, Rue Spence, and I'm here to take podcasting up an octave. Let's get into it. Hello, and welcome back to Podcasting Up an Octave. I am so glad that you're here. Today, we are going to talk about the fears of using AI. I know that sometimes the ethics and privacy concerns and just the fear of phoning in your content can be so real. I know that there are some folks still on the fence about using AI, and I totally get it. There are concerns about AI taking over jobs, spreading information, and given this current administration, those fears are even more valid than they were 4 months ago. But here's the thing. AI is a tool, and like any tool, its impact depends on how you use it. AI is not inherently good or bad, it is predictive. And the information that you feed into it helps you know what you're going to get back. If you use it with good intentions and you've trained it well, you're going to get good content out of it. Today, we're going to tackle the big ethical questions around AI so that you can make an informed and empowered decision about how or even if you want to use it in your podcasting process. And if you do decide that AI is right for you, my course, Podcasting on Autopilot, teaches you how to use AI ethically, strategically, and responsibly, so you're never just handing your voice over to a machine. The course launches on Friday, so make sure you stay tuned for more info about that. But let's get into it. Let's start with the biggest fear that I've heard from people. Can you even trust AI to give you accurate information? AI doesn't know things. It predicts the next likely word based on patterns. That means that it can make things up, it can misinterpret context, or it can even reinforce biases in what it generates. This is why I never advocate just popping whatever AI gives you up onto the internet, in your podcast, or wherever you're using it. I always recommend having human guardrails up around it to make sure that you're getting the best content. I use AI for brainstorming, summarizing, and organizing thoughts, but I would never advise you to take it as an authoritative source without verifying. It is a wealth of information, but it can be wrong. Always check your sources, always fact check, always make sure that you can corroborate what it's coming up with. But don't underestimate how valuable of a tool it can be. Misinformation happens when people rely on AI blindly. It should be there to assist your thinking, not to replace it. I think the most ethical way to use AI is to be its human babysitter. When you just take it at face value that what it's coming up with is accurate, you're left with potentially continuing this disinformation and allowing it to kind of run rampant. Something that I don't hear enough people talking about is that you can correct AI. You can tell it, actually, no, that's not real. That's not accurate. That's not true. And that helps it to learn and generate better content in the future. I see AI as a really powerful tool for collaboration and for sharing information as human beings. And when you remind it, these things are not factual, it learns and it works better the next time. That's all fine and dandy. Let's talk about whether or not AI is storing and mining your data. And the answer is that it depends on how you use it. Public AI tools like ChatGPT do save interactions for training. Like I mentioned a minute ago, it's going to get better every time you use it because it's learning from you. That's why you shouldn't be putting sensitive information into a free AI tool. There is a chance that it's being stored. You should never input your private information, financial data, anything that you wouldn't want out in the wild into ChatGPT. But you also, I trust that you are a savvy enough user of the internet to know that you also wouldn't Google your social security number. Not putting out that information is just good practice, no matter how you're using the internet, and AI is really not that different than anything else. If you wouldn't share this information on Facebook, you probably shouldn't be sharing it on ChatGPT. There are pro versions of a lot of different AI assistants that have stricter privacy protocols, or there are local AI tools that don't send data to the cloud, but I still recommend, if you don't know that it's like doubly encrypted, like maybe your health portal through a hospital or a doctor's office, you should not be sharing super sensitive information. I've mentioned in the past that I kind of use AI for everything, but I am still sensitive about exactly the depth of information that I'm sharing. And that is because we don't know how it's being used. And with it being affiliated with really, really wealthy people, there is a chance that things can always go sideways. And that is a responsibility that I believe that we have as any type of participant in the digital landscape. As we've seen with like Zuckerberg going really rogue on Facebook, that, there is a responsibility that we have as users to know what information we are comfortable sharing. And the same is true for AI. And then this is a little bit less of a security concern, but there is the fear of losing your voice. I hear all the time people saying that they don't want to cheat with AI, they don't want AI to cheapen their content, and they don't want it to take away what makes them unique. AI can make content sound generic. We've all seen the rocket ship emojis and the diving in and the making a splash. And that's because if you just take AI's first draft and run with it, it is going to sound robotic. That's why using AI should just be a starting point and why you have to train it like you would train any assistant or VA. This is a starting point and not the final product. The more that you refine the outputs you get from AI, the more it learns how to sound like you. Eventually, it's going to basically be your carbon copy and it's going to just get you, but it's just like anyone else that you would bring onto your team. It's not going to know that from day one, and it's never going to learn that unless you train it. Your creativity is what makes AI powerful. It isn't here to replace you. It's here to amplify what only you can do. As I mentioned earlier, it is a tool. And there are good tools and there are bad tools. You may be a fabulous artist, but I can almost guarantee that what you could create with Crayola crayons is going to be very different than what you could create if you are a classically trained oil painter and you don't have access to those paints. You could probably make the most amazing crayon drawing that I've ever seen, but if you are an oil painter, you're not going to have that same creative output. By using AI as a tool, it's going to help you get more into your zone to generate better art. And I say that because I do believe that podcasting is an art form. Whether you're talking about show ponies, whether you're talking about parenting, whether you're talking about your business, you are creating art. And if AI is allowing you to make better art, I think right now this world really needs some darn good art. So I want to keep this short and sweet today because, oh my gosh, all of my energy is going into Friday. I'm super excited to get this course out into the world. So here's the long and short of it. AI is only as ethical, accurate, and useful as the person using it. The power is in your hands, and knowing how to use it well is what makes it either good or bad or indifferent. So not knowing exactly how to use it is what's holding you back from getting great results. So that's why I've got podcasting on autopilot. Doors are opening on February 21st. If you're listening the week that this comes out, that is this Friday. And I'm not having a panic attack at all. I'm so jazzed to get this into the world. It has been a long time coming. I am using this course to teach you how to use AI the right way so that you stay in control while making your podcasting process even easier. You can snag the freebie that gets you on the waitlist and gives you some awesome prompts in the meantime at the link in the show notes. Until Friday, come hang out with me on Instagram and tell me, do you have a big hesitation with AI? Does it feel clunky? Are you nervous about it? Let's talk about it. And then start experimenting. This week, try AI for one task with your podcast. Whether it's brainstorming episode ideas, outlining your episodes, summarizing your episode, transcripts for your show notes, feel it out, see how it is. AI isn't the future. It is here. It is not going anywhere. And the podcasters who learn to use it wisely are the ones who are going to thrive. If you're ready to be one of them, I will see you inside Podcasting on Autopilot. Thank you for being here and helping me take podcasting up an octave.